So how could an explosion create everything, just everything in the world, all of the planets, the stars, everything? Because we believe all that matter, the explosion is in the universe. So Stephen Hawking says in his book that Big Bang Theory was an explosion of energy and light. And in Genesis, it starts off saying the first thing that God created was let there be light, which is corresponding to this explosion of light. So even though we don't know if the Big Bang Theory is necessarily true, we can still kind of say that if science was true, then God still has to do something with it, or there has to be a God for that to happen. So, also Stephen Hawking says that we as Christians believe that the world is 6,000 years, but we don't, because God did not create the sun and moon till the fourth day. So there's no such thing as 24 hours. And plus that, we are technically on the seventh day. So I'm pretty sure since Adam and Eve till now, that's not 24 hours. So by saying that the world, that we believe that the world is 6,000 years, and those first 6 days were actually 6 days, which is 24 hours, is not true, because we don't know, there's nowhere in the Bible that says that the world is the first 6 days were 24 hours. So they believe that it's 4.54 billion years ago, billion years old. But how do they know that? They just research trees and fossils and everything. But they don't know what was before that. So there's still more evidence that they can find. But that evidence is still gonna go back to God. Then the universe explained. So who knows who's in the universe? Anyone knows the universe? No? Okay.
Tell us.
So there was a scientist in the 1930s and 1940s, and he said that inorganic molecules, like not living things, created organic and amino acids, which are living protein, which created us, building blocks of organisms. So he took a test and he took what he believed were the inorganic molecules that created the amino acids and put them in a test tube and tried to create the amino acids. Even though he succeeded in creating amino acids, he created 20 amino acids, which were more than what was actually created at the creation of amino acids. So even if the amino acids were alive, they were not by chance. The chance, imagine just taking a bunch of paint and throwing it at the wall and creating a masterpiece or a Mona Lisa just by chance. And even less of a chance than that. It's very low. It's incomprehensible that the chance, 1 over a billion of the chance that something like that would happen. But he perfectly manipulated those inorganic molecules in a test tube. So even if he did create the amino acids, he still wouldn't have proved anything, because he still didn't answer the question of what are the chances of that happening. So atheists say, why would we believe in a God that lets evil exist? Well, it doesn't make sense. Why would we put our hope in somebody that just lets everything just happen? So let me tell you a story. So this guy is in a barber shop, right? And so he comes to the barber shop, the barber guy, and then they just talked about conversations. He came up to the argument of God existence, and the barber was an atheist. So barber told the same thing, why would we believe in God that lets murder, rape, theft, and all these things happen in the world? And just doesn't say anything about it. So the guy didn't want to argue, so he left the shop. We have free will. So how did evil come into the world in the beginning? So Adam and Eve were created, and God gave them free will. And He gave them one rule. And that rule was, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Genesis 2:16-17. So He warned them. He told them, if you do this, you will surely die. If I say you surely die, you will be cast out from paradise. And so we all know the story. Eve was the first one to. Eve was the first one to eat. Eve was the first one to eat it, and then she tempted Adam to eat it also. So when they got cast out into heaven, into earth, they brought sin with them, and by bringing sin, evil also. But then after, and until Noah, evil grew and grew and grew, and God had to do something about it. And so created the flood. And He told Noah and his family to build the ark. And even after that, evil still came back. And Sodom and Gomorrah, also another example of God trying to destroy evil, the Sodom and Gomorrah. God asked, He said, listen, I need, if you can find me 5 righteous men, I will save the city. But He couldn't even find 5. So He tried, but we still have free will, and we're still doing evil, and we're still sinning. But He does say something, and it's the most beautiful thing. He promises there's a new world coming, in which there will be no more tears or pain, because all things will be made anew. So when He says anew, we're going back to paradise, which there was no evil, there was no sin. So ultimately, evil will be destroyed. So, moral basis. So, science says, and atheists say, that we don't need God for morals. They say that, we're born with a conscience. And we know that killing another human being is bad. But if you gave a child a weapon, so he killed somebody, is he going to feel bad after it? Or if you told that child to steal something, no, he's not going to know what's right from wrong. So where do we get right from wrong? So here's another story. A boy comes into class, and he didn't study for the test, right? So he has to cheat. So he cheats up the kid next to him, and he gets in trouble for it. He gets a 0 on his test, plus a detention. So what did the kid do wrong? He had good intentions and wanted to pass the test. So what did he do wrong? Well, to somebody atheist, their mentality, he pretty much did not do anything wrong, because he did not do any of the bases, which he didn't get it. Where did they get it from? Where did they get it from? So obviously cheating is wrong, because the 7th commandment says you shall not steal, and cheating is from stealing somebody's idea or somebody's thought. So you cannot have something happen without it being written or being brought into knowledge. Nobody really just said, stealing is wrong, killing is wrong, rape is wrong, theft is wrong, all that stuff. No one really just came up with that. There had to be a point where it started. And we all know that was 10 Commandments. So now I'm going to talk about God all around us. So we all know the story. Well, first of all, we all live in America. And America is like the best country in the world. Right?
مصر أم الدنيا.
So we all know the
مصر أم
story of the
الدنيا.
Pilgrims and how they came from England
صح.
to escape King George. And they wrote this after the Mayflower.
the grace of God of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, King Defender of the Faith, have undertaken for the glory of God and advancement for the Christian faith and honor of our King and country, a voice to plant the first colony in the northern parts of Virginia. Do these by present solemnly and mutually in the presence of God, one another, covenant and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic.
So, they planted the first colony for the glory of God and advancement of Christian faith. For the advancement of Christian faith. When we look at America, and now we see all around us, atheism is growing, and we're learning about evolution so people can not believe in Christ and God. But America was created for the advancement of Christian faith. So how does that make sense? That would be
unconstitutional.
This doesn't make sense. So pretty much we would not have this country without God.
I loved your ending.
I just have something to add. I don't know, this happened like 2 weeks ago in school. I was in my history class and my teacher asked me, he knows I'm Christian, so he was like, do you believe in God? I'm like, yes. He was like, what about evolution? I was like, how could you believe in something you didn't see? Evolution is a theory. Like, how could you believe in something you didn't witness? So he was like, have you seen God? And I'm like, no. But if you like believe in God, he could present himself to you. And just an atheist girl asked me, like, how could you see God? I'm like, you can see him in your life, or in your, like, every situation you ask him for something, you can always feel his presence.
So God has shown himself to many people in the Bible and many saints. But really evolution has not been seen by anyone. But let's go back to St. Noah. What if you kept those amino acids for the next billion years inside, and they were alive? And somebody actually, generation to generation, people actually looked at those amino acids, and would they actually, theoretically, scientists believe that they were actually creating another human or another living organism. So it's really not possible to say that, well, it takes more faith to believe in evolution. Evolutionism is pretty much saying that a species comes out of another species. So to say humans are coming out of monkeys. But what is the proof of that? Oh, the digital structures? The spleen? You know how many vaccines you need to take out that spleen? Or how about the tailbone? Is the tailbone really part of the animal? No, it's a bone. So there's not a lot of proof of evolution.
Did you see that video about the guy who was like, the one where it's like, let me destroy evolution in 5 minutes? Yeah, that's where he's like, it takes more faith to believe in evolution over creation.
It really does.
I'm just referencing the video.
Thank you.
Don't clap. Stop. Peter, of course.
I have a question.
Shay has a question.
Yes,
Okay. You said that about the story, the girl or the boy that steals something and then
she did?
whatever. Yeah. But then you said in the Bible it says, "You shall not steal."
Yeah.
So you're saying that without the Bible, we wouldn't know what's right, what's wrong.
Pretty much. Where?
So if you get, let's say you don't know anything about the Bible, and then you get burned, would you go to the fire again?
Well, you still gotta know what's right and wrong. Where do people get that right?
So you don't basically need, I'm not trying to but you don't need the Bible basically to tell what's right. استنى هفهم بس مش قصدي يعني بالبوينت دي. انتوا كده تفهموا غلط. يعني what I mean is you can You can tell what's right and what's wrong without knowing anything actually. Even if you're the dumbest person on earth, you'll know what's right and what's wrong. Like if you get burned, you're not gonna go to the fire again. Like when you see accidents, like would you drive drinking? You know it's wrong without even trying it like before, right? Without. You see?
There's consequences. Consequences. Yo.
This is called Youssef.
Yo.
Drinking or referring to obviously but it's maybe more knowing that stealing is wrong, and so people have to teach us that. Like, let's say for instance.
But now you're only talking about one point, is stealing, but there's a lot of other things that you don't need to know about.
I'm just talking about right from wrong, like cursing, all that stuff. Just the sins themselves. Okay. So you're talking about like the streets one, the logic. The logic, like, oh, if you touch the fire, you'll burn. Obviously, everybody knows that. No one needs to tell you that. That's not written in the Bible. It's talking about, like, the sins themselves. Like, where do we get the right and wrong from?
Thank you.
I'm going to talk to you after. We're going to talk after.
Your mind tells you what to do. So there's some situations where you have to use logic, like, to get out of it. So whenever you have like a fire in front of you, you're not gonna put your finger in it.
Have you?
Everybody knows that if you touch the fire,
Let's delete. Let's delete. What? It doesn't really what to do, but it just helps you to differentiate between the wrong situations and the right situation. It's a guide.
Let's.
the right and wrong, not the situation. The right and wrong.
It'll guide you across.
So like back to Shady's point, like the whole people. I don't know if it was Shady or Youssef who said, but like I heard someone say like, oh, without the Bible, you're not gonna know what's right, what's wrong. But that's not really true because Joseph, when he was being tempted by Potiphar's wife, before that time there wasn't any Moses or any Bible. So like, again, you didn't know. So when Potiphar's wife asked him to commit trinity, he told her, how can I commit this great sin? You know, you being my master's wife and everything. It's like, even though he didn't have the Ten Commandments and everything, he still knew. They still know, like, deep down what the difference between right and wrong is.
Okay, number one.
Defense.
So what you're talking about is you're mixing up logic with morals. Those are two different arguments. So you can't put the two together because they come from two different parts. Okay, number two. Number two, Joseph was the most educated man in the nation of Egypt, and they had scriptures back then. Okay? Number three. All right.
How many are there?
No, it's just three. Okay, so relax. Okay, so number three, if you're going to I lost my train of thought. I'll talk later.
I think the important thing to realize is, like you mentioned, go back to the evil slide. The evil slide. Isn't God setting a standard here saying what's right and what's wrong? You eat of the tree, you can eat whatever tree you want, but if you eat from the one tree, you're doing it wrong against God. I think it's God who's the one who sets the standards. And he said it from even before the Ten Commandments. Yeah, but you shouldn't just say it's just the Ten Commandments that establish it. God established it from the beginning. There's a right and there's a wrong. You follow my way, it's right. You follow evil and Satan's way, that's wrong.
Okay, number three. Shady, let me ask you a question. Who taught you your morals?
Who taught me my morals?
Yeah. Your parents, right? Your parents?
Maybe.
Well, you would say your parents?
I would say.
Okay.
Maybe teachers.
Who taught them? Who taught your parents? Their parents. And it goes on and on and on. Yes. Generations and generations and generations, right?
Yes.
Okay. First generation, What's the first generation? Huh? Yeah, what's the first generation?
يعني اللي هم يعني the first
Yeah.
first.
Adam and Eve, صح?
ماشي.
Okay. So, look at the verse. If you do this, it's wrong. If you do this, it's right. Those are morals, right?
صح.
Okay. So obviously you need scriptures and you need the Bible to know what's right from wrong. Just because you don't need to actually read because you've been handing down from your parents doesn't mean that you don't need the Bible. That's all I'm going to say.
لا عادي.
Don't ever try to argue with me again. Don't ever try to argue.
ارجع.
There's societies where, like, you know, like, eating other humans is okay, and that's okay for them, but, like, if we believe in this God, and we truly believe that our religion is right, then we're going to listen to what he says, just like we have parents that we listen to. Yeah, there's other people out there that think, you know, sleeping with someone before marriage is okay, or whatever, but that's them. That's if we want to follow our religion, then God has gave us a free will to pick from the rules that he chose, like, that he gave us, or the guidance that he chose for us.
All right. Good job. Last 1 minute, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Youssef, for the presentation. We're actually short on topics. We don't have any topics planned for next week even.
I'll do it.
Abuna gave me a topic before, but I never taught it.
Okay, so David, you have a topic?
Yeah, the church is the icon of heaven.
Okay, you want to do next week?
I'll get the week. I'll do Jesus in the Old Testament.
Okay, I'm just going to give you guys a break. I need people from college because we haven't had anyone from college for a while.
Shady just did it.
Anyone in college, any topic you like, open discussion, research, anything.
Yes.
Please don't call anyone.
Motivational speaker.
Okay, what's your topic? Okay, so you guys are the week after. Okay, John, you're the week after. Okay.
في رامي أندرو زكي عاوز بس هو مبسوط
I do the walk down. Holy step mark minute. The person holy step mark minute.